Good morning, girls. Today we are going to see act wise story, and the drama which we are seeing now is The Importance of Being Earnest, which was written by Oscar Wilde. For the past 2-3 days, you are familiar with the introduction about the author. Then you know about the character sketch of the play, Importance of Being Earnest. And today I'm going to tell you the act wise summary. We have 3 acts. Drama comes with the act wise that you girls know very clearly. So, the importance of being earnest is also drama which comes in the form of act wise. So we have 3 acts, ma. We have 3 acts. Each act comes with the scene. We have 3 acts. Each act comes with two scenes. So in the act 1, we have 2 scenes, and in the act 2, we have 2 scenes, as well as in the act 3, we have 2 scenes. So this is the structure of the drama. Okay, so let us see here. Here the play starts. Act 1. In the act 1, we have 2 parts, that is 2 scenes. So scene number 1 takes place in the London. Okay, so act 1, part 1. It was a flat of Algernon, the second hero, a stylish flat. It was the flat of Algernon. He is considered as the second hero of the play. This play took place in the year 1895, and his butler, Lane, a male maid, arranges afternoon tea. His servant is arranging afternoon tea for him. Actually, Algernon is playing the piano. After playing the piano, he came to the adjoining room and he says, how was the he asks Lane about his performance, how he performed the piano playing. And he says that everyone can play the piano, but only few can give the wonderful expression. He himself appreciated. Who himself appreciated? Algernon himself appreciated about his playing, about his style of playing the piano. And he asked Lane whether he prepared cucumber salad or not, because he asked Lane to prepare cucumber salad for cucumber sandwiches for Lady Bracknell, who is going to arrive in that afternoon to visit Algernon. So Algernon asked his butler, the Lane, to prepare cucumber sandwich. And now, after playing piano, he came to the adjoining room and he takes 2 slices of cucumber and he sat on the sofa. Who sat on the sofa? Algernon sat on the sofa with the two slices of sandwiches. They discuss marriage. They discuss marriage and they were discussing what are the issues are important for the marriage, and Algernon explains the opinion that is demoralizing. Marriage is a demoralizing. So on the time Lane got excuse, he left the room after he muses on the lower class inabilities to set a good example for the upper class. So they were talking about the marriage. Algernon talks about the marriage and what are the things to be done for the marriage. And marriage is not a moral to be a moralizing. It is a demoralizing. So he was discussing about marriage issues. On the time, Lane got excuse and Lane went out of the house. But immediately immediately within a few minutes, Lane brings in Ernest Worthing. So who comes there? Ernest Worthing comes there to the flat of Algernon. Who comes? Jack Worthing. Okay, he is called as Ernest. Jack is also called as Ernest. So Lane brings Ernest Worthing, who has just returned from the country. So Ernest just come from the country. Now he just came there to visit Algernon. Okay, actually Ernest Worthing is a dual role played by Jack Worthing. Jack Worthing in the village and Ernest Worthing in the London. So whenever he comes to the London, he is called as Ernest. Whenever he goes back to the village, to his country, he is called as Jack Worthing. So he has come as a Ernest now. When Jack discovers that Lady Bracknell, Algernon aunt, and a Fairfax, her daughter, are coming to tea, he arrives. He has came to London to propose her. When Ernest was talking about Fairfax, when he told Algernon that he is going to propose her by today afternoon, because they are supposed to come by the afternoon. And Ernest is an idea, he is in plan to propose her. And Algernon ridicules the notion of marriage. Algernon says he just gives a ridiculous and a notion of marriage, owing he never marry. And Algernon states that he never marry Fairfax because while fending Jack off from the cucumber sandwiches, and who left? Jack left for a while, and Algernon sits and having the cucumber sandwiches again. Jack joins him on the sofa. So Jack stops eating the cucumber and he joins Algernon by sitting on the sofa. Jack Ernest, he want to Fairfax. He want to marry Fairfax. But Algernon says that if he want to marry Fairfax, he have to clear the issues of Sicily, because he is so young man. Who is so young man? The Jack Worthing as well as the Ernest Worthing. He is a very young man, but he is a guardian of Sicily. So Algernon, he puts an advice to Ernest. If he want to marry Fairfax, means he have to clear the concept. He want to clear the life of Sicily. Okay, who is Sicily actually? Who is Sicily? Cicely is a granddaughter of she is a granddaughter of old man Thomas Cardew, who brought Ernest from the Victorian railway station, and he was born and brought up by the Thomas Cardew, and when he was died he nominated uh, Jack Worthing as well as Ernest as a guardian for the Sicily. So this is the real story of the Jack Worthing as well as Ernest. So Algernon states the clear cut to the Ernest, if you want to marry Firefox, you have to clear the issue and he must clear with the life of Cicely. So on the time, Algernon ask see Algernon calls Lane to bring in Jack's cigarette case. So Algernon calls the Lane and to ask him to bring the cigarette case of Ernest. On the time, Lane went to the room of Jack and he brings, and it was written as, since it was written as Algernon is doubtful, since she has written from little Cicely with her fondest love to her dear uncle Jack. In the cigarette it was a actually it was a case, that is a case, the one who have the habit of smoking, they dust the smoking in the case. So Algernon asked Lane to bring the cigarette case of Ernest was kept in his room, and Lane has bring the cigarette case, and it was written as to dear Uncle Jack. But he was known as Ernest in the London, but he was known as Jack in the village. And Algernon asked Ernest to be clear with his life without any order of confusion or anything twisting into the life of Ernest. And Ernest, he started to explain the life of himself, and he stated that he was brought up by Thomas Cardew, and after his death he has become the guardian father Cicely, and he is known as Jack Worthing in the countryside, and he is known as a Ernest Worthing in the countryside, in the city life. So this made him to play with the dual role. Jack says his name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country. Algernon says he has always suspect Jack was a Bunbury. Bunburyist means playing dual role, and shows he has a proof. Jack explains that Thomas Cardew, he was adopted him. He is a man who adopted him. He found Jack Worthing on the on the Victorian railway station, and he was born and brought up by the Thomas Cardew. And when he was died, and he made Ernest as well as Jack to be the guardian of Cicely. This is the outcome of the life of Jack Worthy as well as Ernest. And Cicely is the granddaughter of Thomas Cardew. Okay, and he nominated Ernest Jack Worthing to be a guardian for the Cicely. After that, Miss Prism has come. Miss Prism was appointed, and she was appointed as a governess. Governess means a lady maid to the Cicely. Okay. So this was the story, and Cicely knows that why Jack is being to London often, and he states that he got a brother in the London and he is called as Ernest Worthing. Okay, so Cecily, by hearing the name of such man, Cecily has fallen in love with the name. So therefore, he has invented a ne'er-do-well younger brother named Ernest who lives in Albany. So, Jack Worthing states that why he often visits London, and he states that his younger brother is staying in Albany, and he is called as Ernest Worthing. So, that's why he often visits London, but that is not the real fact. He want to visit Fairfax. That's why he often travel from his country to London. And then Algernon confesses that he has created an invalid friend in the countryside, Bunbury. And even Algernon states that he also got one of his friend in the countryside and he is known as Bunbury. Okay, so for which he needs to get out of town. And Algernon states that you have come to the London to see your friend, to see your life, but I must off to the village. I must off to the village to see the Bunbury. Okay, so like this, Algernon and Ernest, they are been changing and maintaining to one each another. Will need him more than ever if he marries. So this was the story behind of getting married under the name of Ernest Worthing. Okay, so this is the beginning of the first part. That is the first part of the drama, Act 1, Scene 1. So in the scene, we have come across. Importantly, we have come across many important character. It was started with the first character, Algernon. The play starts at the house of Algernon. He was playing piano, and his male maid Lane, he's preparing tea for him, and Algernon asked him to prepare cucumber sandwich for that afternoon because his cousin Auntie and Fairfax are going to visit him and they are going to discuss about the marriage of Fairfax. So on the time they are yet to come, Algernon he talks to Lane about the marriage proposal. All of sudden, what happened? Lane he got excuse and he left the hall. On the time, Ernest enters the palace. Again, Lane brings Ernest Worthing to the Algernon, and two started to talk. But but one thing, Jack is called as Ernest in the town. He is known as Jack Worthing in the country, and he is known as Ernest Worthing in the countryside of London. And everyone in the place of London, they know him as a Ernest. So Algernon invited him, and both indulging in a talk about the marriage, and they were tasting the cucumber sandwiches. And Algernon he likes cucumber sandwiches very well, and Ernest states that day, and he came to know that the cucumber sandwiches was prepared for the Fairfax and for her mother who is about to come that afternoon. And he states that he is going to propose her to get married, but Algernon states that if he want to get marry her, he must clear the life of Cecily. Who is Cecily? She is the Jack is the guardian of Cecily, and she is the granddaughter of Thomas guard you. Okay, so Algernon states that if Ernest, if you want to marry Fairfax means you have to clear the life of Cecily. Okay, you are a young man, but you are a guardian of a young woman. How come this possible? So he states that if he explains the life of Cecily to the Fairfax Alventon, he can Fairfax or to her mother, he can marry her. And he states that he got a dual role, and on the time Algernon asked Lane to bring the cigarette ash, a cigarette case to dust the ashes of the smoking. So he brought, but it was written as Jack Uncle. And by the time Ernest, he started to convey the message to Algernon about his life. He was born and brought up and adopted by Thomas Cardew, who was identified, who got, see, Thomas Cardew, who is a man um, who became the guardian of Jack Worthing, and later on, after the death of Thomas Cardew, he nominated Jack Worthing as a guardian for the Cecily. Okay, and Cecily knows that Jack ever goes to London to visit his brother Ernest. Ernest Worthing, and he is Jack Worthing, and he ever goes to London to visit his brother Ernest Worthing. By hearing the story of Ernest Worthing, Cecily, he falls in love with the hidden brother of Jack Worthing. So, by telling the story to the Algernon has fallen in love with Cecily, and he want to visit to the countryside, and he want to see the Cecily. And this is a position, and this is a situation where how the story gets depicted into the various level. Okay, so here I stop with the part 1. The next day Lady Bracknell is going to come with Fairfax, and Ernest is staying as Ernest in the London. Next, Algernon is supposed to go to countryside, and he want to be a Bunbury. Bunbury means who plays the dual role again. So Algernon want to visit countryside of Jack Worthing. So up to this Act 1, Scene 1. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see the Act 1 and Scene 2. In the Scene 2, we are going to see the arrival of Lady Bracknell with the Fairfax. And we know that Ernest is going to propose Fairfax in the flat of Algernon. Okay, this is the content we are going to see. So, I'll conclude here, ma. I'll conclude here. Tomorrow we'll see part 2. Kindly go through the first part, Act 1, Scene 1. If you're clear with the Scene 1, you give me a comment in the comment section, and I'll be going on with the second scene tomorrow. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me, ma. Don't get confused with the characters. In this play we have only least characters, but the problem is because of dual role it makes you confused, but very politely, very slowly, I make sure that I'll teach you for your clear understanding. Okay, so girls, here I stop. I wish everyone to be safe and secured. And then, see, girls, stay home, stay safe, and go digital. Kindly go through the act wise summary of the drama Importance of Being Earnest, which was written by Oscar Wilde. For your better understanding, kindly wear headphones. Thank you, girls. Bye bye.